teachers or parents, anyone who's on this webinar, the goals of this webinar are, one, to be able to identify current source of stress relief with exercise, to understand the scope of possible stress relieving exercise possibilities. We're going to talk a lot about different ones. And then we're also going to identify appropriate next exercise choices for you personally, because it's a very personal, individual experience. All right, go ahead, Ty.
Awesome. Thank you, Gabby, for sharing for today. You can take a quick look here. As you're looking over the agenda, I kind of want to go over some norms, some Zoom norms. I know a lot of you have been doing this, so you know, but I just want to reiterate it, and I don't want to make any assumptions. As always, we would love for you to cut on your camera so we can see your beautiful smiling faces, but there's no pressure there. There will be some activity that will,
Is she freezing for you guys a little bit as well? Yeah, okay. Hey,
we'll kind of
I'm gonna
urge you to cut them on, but ask that if you're not speaking, use the chat box. If you don't know where that is, you can look and use. We want to make that we are monitoring the chat box as well too. So again, this is the agenda, just so you have an idea of where we're going for today. Go ahead, Gabby.
No, I just wanted to let you know that you're cutting out a little bit. So if there's a little shift Gabby? You can make.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How about now?
It's better. We'll see. Normally your internet's pretty good, so hopefully it's fine. But that sounds good. Just to reiterate a few things, just in case you guys didn't catch it. At any time that anyone has a question, go ahead, type it in that chat box. We're thinking about anything for you individually. You're welcome to chat to us personally if you don't want to share with the whole group. If there's a question that you have or a statement you want to help support with others, please feel free to do that. Cameras on, off. If you need a little stretch break, this is about getting moving. So please stand up if you need to stretch. That's totally fine. Okay, Ty, I hope that it's all good now, and go ahead, take it away.
All right, this is my test right here. Can you hear me? Awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, so let's get into introductions a little bit. Again, my name is Tyecia Powell, or they call me Ty. I'm a former educator. I've been in education for 15 years. I've taught in DC and Baltimore and Georgia. So I've been doing this for a little while. I'm a former instructional coach, and currently I'm the director or COO of Bikram Yoga Works. So I'm in the health profession. I'm a Pilates instructor. I'm also an ed doctorate candidate, and my focus is on leaders. Whole leaders create whole schools. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to pass it on over to.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabby. Ty, can you grab to that next slide for me, please? Hopefully it works. Okay. Well, when we get to the next slide, my name is Gabby. I'm a former educator. I taught in KIPP schools for 5 years doing early childhood instruction. I taught kindergarten, pre-K, and then I ran the intervention program as well. I am now in full-time fitness. I have been previously doing HIIT at Sweat DC, which is how I know Lindsay. She comes there. And that's also how Aaron, one of our trainers, is coming on because we know each other. Also, Lindsay is a complete boss. If you didn't know that, she's incredible. So just know that. I also used to teach spin classes before quarantine and have been personal training. I'm now the president and founder of Gabby Wellness. So it's been some virtual fitness that we've been doing. On top of that, for nonprofit wellness, I've been curating the Instagram as well as doing some of the teacher-led training. And then now we'll get into introducing to you all the two instructors that are going to be helping out with some of our wellness series. So let's take it over to Jessie.
All right, we're just going to switch off here. So my name's Jessie. I'll be leading the Thursday afternoon class. It's at 3 p.m. I am a yoga and fitness teacher. I teach all different kinds of, currently I'm teaching about 10 different styles of classes, including HIIT, Vinyasa, Yin, Hot Yoga, Bar, and if you don't know what any of those are, we'll talk about them in class on Thursday. I used to be a substitute teacher for a couple years in my transitional phase, and that was really fun. I specifically worked with a lot of like special education classes, but I also have experience in teaching yoga to Army, veterans, active duty, teachers, athletes, and children. And my degree's in sociology, so I really love that aspect of, you know, getting together and learning about different people in different groups. So I'm really excited to have this opportunity, and I look forward to next Thursday.
And as you can hear, all the classes are kid friendly.
And then Aaron, I know you're on here. Aaron's from Sweat. He's going to join us for also this series. Aaron, go ahead, unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Gotcha. Hello. I'm Aaron. I'm a personal trainer. I also teach at Sweat DC with Gabby. I teach HIIT. I teach strong. Also a personal trainer. I have my own business called Fitness Theory Training. I do virtual boot camps now. I work with runners, marathons, half, 5Ks. Actually just came from running today. I'm still hot. Also, I have 7 years of work in physical therapy experience. I worked hands-on with the chiropractor and PT. I used to do a lot of his exercise protocol. Also, I am a running coach. I probably said that. Work with athletes. I work with stay-at-home athletes. I work with the young and the young at heart. So that's just a little bit about me. Certified in all of those things: exercise, therapy, personal training, HIIT, TRX, a couple of other ones. I think I'm forgetting, but that's just me.
Aaron's incredible. So if you have a chance, I haven't gone to Jessie's class, but I do know Aaron's classes. So if you do have a chance to head to his classes for DCI Family Fun Friday, you should definitely do so. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, so really quick, before we get into all these things, you've heard a little bit about us. I do want us to really think about how we are going to use our bodies, or thinking about using our bodies throughout this entire webinar. So I'd like you to just push that chair back for 10 seconds. You're gonna keep your eyes closed or open. We're gonna get a quick stretch in here, just inhaling, bringing those hands over your head. And then exhaling, letting it go. You can let your head drop as well. Inhaling again, overhead. And exhaling, let it go. We'll do one more before we dive into the rest of our work. Inhaling. And exhale, let it go, shake it out, whatever you need to do. And then coming back to that computer. If you need to stand up, whatever feels good. Today, so we're thinking about exercise, physical wellness. I want you to pause for a moment. This is a very different question if we were not in quarantine, but I do want you to think about actual quarantine. What did you do to promote your physical wellness this month? So physical wellness means exercise, nutrition, rest. I want you to take a moment, write it down for yourself, or if you feel comfortable, share it in the chat with everyone. What's something that you did that helped that physical wellness this month? We'll share some of those out. I know for me, I've been actually thinking about my mental wellness in addition to my physical wellness. So similar to Ty, I have been doing lots of yoga. Ty said she's been doing meditation. She's been going outside. Lindsay's Sweat Anywhere app, fabulous. Lots of walks, sleep, meditation, fasting, daily walks. Look at all of this. So many different things that you all are using. And that is amazing. Guess what? We're going to try and build on some of that today. So today, our goal is to walk out of this room, walk out of this webinar, and have something as like a next step that will feel good for you to build on your practice right now. So let's get into some of those definitions. What is exercise, Ty?
Awesome. So everyone, on your screen, you'll see the definitions, and these are the two definitions that we are going to work with today, the definition of physical wellness and also exercise. I'm going to read those out to you. So it says, physical wellness promote proper care of our bodies for optimal health and functioning, encouraging the balance of physical activity, nutrition, and mental well-being that keeps our body in top condition. So take note that this also impacts our mental, our nutrition. This is holistically. The second thing we're going to discuss today is your exercise. Exercise is physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive. It has a final or intermediate objective. So again, keep these definitions in mind as we're moving forward. And I'm going to pass it on to Gabby to talk more about what's happening. Actually, it's back on me. Why exercise is good. Sorry, Gabby. I'm looking at two screens, everyone. Sorry. So let me talk to you a little bit about why exercise is good. So first of all, this is not, telling everybody that you have to be fitness instructors or you have to just do yoga or HIIT, and we'll talk about this. But exercise and movement is so important, and these are some of the reasons. You could go down a rabbit hole on the reasons why exercise is important, but these are some of the things that we found. Just a healthier lifestyle, a healthier heart, with in a stressful time right now, getting that physical movement is going to be so important. It's going to help prevent ailments, help potentially prevent diabetes and different things like this, but it's also going to reduce that stress, that depression that may come during unknown, uncertain times that we're going through right now. So, and it also can improve your thinking. Studies have shown that when you work out and when you study or you're taking in new information, you remember those things more doing it before and or after you take in new information. So super, super important to think about this exercise because it's helpful to our systems and to our bodies. So now,
I also really like this visual here, thinking about looking at the brain when you're sitting quietly for 20 minutes, which is also really powerful. Meditation is very powerful, or just sitting in stillness. But look at what your brain is doing after 20 minutes of walking. 20 minutes is not that much, doesn't even have to be high intensity, but look at your brain just firing up, getting ready for ideas and getting ready to move. So it's not just about that physical wellness, it also helps with your mental clarity. Thanks, Ty. The really important thing to think about, though, is that this is a personal journey. Everyone is on their own path. We're all coming at it with different stressors in mind. We're all coming at it with different things that we've started or we haven't started, and that is okay. I love this quote. When it comes to health and well-being, regular exercise is about as close to a magic potion as you can get. So Ty and I have mostly found our magic potion. And I'm going to be honest, in quarantine, it changed. So we've given this webinar before in a different setting, and the way we're giving it now is pretty different because what's happening within our bodies is kind of exacerbated and changing and asking us to do something a little bit different. So we're going to go into our personal stories because this is what's important to us. And when we share a little bit of vulnerability, I hope that you can, find a little bit of that space within yourself to get vulnerable, to find some reflection, and just, know that we're not unlike you. Even though we're fitness instructors, we're not unlike you. So I was a high school athlete, and when I moved into college, I did not do any sort of fitness. I pretended to go on the treadmill or the elliptical, and that was like good enough for me, and it wasn't part of my journey. When I went into teaching, however, my third year of teaching, I finally found fitness because I started to completely drown in all my work and all my stress. Every moment was used to do things for my kids, all of my energy. And so I decided for myself that that wasn't enough for me and that I needed more space for myself. So I began spinning. I fell in love with it so much that I ended up going full-time after my 5th year. And the real reason why it stuck with me is because of the mental benefits. It wasn't the physical strength, it was the mental benefits, the clarity, the motivation. Moving into quarantine was really tough for me. I realized that my number one stress reliever was fitness. So as soon as quarantine started, I was teaching and taking my own classes 1 to 4 times a day, and that is not sustainable. So it's made me pause, it's made me think and reflect and realize that I need a variety of stress relievers, just like that special magic potion is a variety of offerings for yourself. So I beg you to listen to your bodies, don't get injured like I did, and really find what that magic potion is for you.
So very similar to Gabby, my family, or I come from a sports background. I played sports in high school. I played sports in college. And while those things brought me great joy, they also became a stressor for me as well, too, being a competitor on a college level and different things like that. And so it also, going through injuries in college, sports and fitness kind of like became something that I put on the back burner as I went into education, because it was a stressor. I was constantly comparing myself. I'm not the best athlete. I need to work harder. So I put it on the back burner for me as I went into teaching, because I had found another joy. I found another passion. But the thing that happened was I threw myself into my teaching so much, and I was giving all to my kids, which is, again, very important, but I forgot to take care of me. And some of you as parents, some of you as teachers probably know that feeling. You pour so much into your kids, into your families, that you forget to take care of you. And so I wasn't effectively doing my job because I wasn't well myself. So with that, I started to find ways to incorporate my physical fitness back into my day. And as teachers, as parents, that can be hard, right? You know, finding that time, finding that space. So I started taking walking meetings. I started doing squats while I'm in meetings and different things like that. It's funny because even in in-person meetings, they would see me get up, and they, you know, my coworkers would laugh at me, and they would say, "Why are you doing squats in the middle of the classroom while you're teaching?" or different stuff. But people started, you know, catching on and doing the same thing. It got my blood moving, and it, you know, it helped with my knees. I have bad knees from, you know, playing college basketball, playing sports overall. And even now you'll see, or we'll talk about more, Gabby and I, it's nothing for us to be on these Zoom calls and somebody's on the floor doing, you know, some abs or, you know, moving their legs. You know, Gabby will pull out the bands in a meeting in a second and start doing different things in a meeting. So it's amazing. But I can understand right now, Gabby, like I'm like you in quarantine, my motivation went out the window. I have a 5-month-old, you know, I got to do the laundry. And when I get down on my mat to do yoga, I notice that my baseboards are dirty. And so I want to get up and clean them instead of doing my workout, right? So I am also having to find other things that I enjoy, you know, like taking walks more. My dogs are loving the extra walks right now, you know? So your fitness story or your journey depends on you. Don't let something be a barrier, you know, just because it used to be. How can I incorporate it into my journey now? And it may not be what it was back then or in different phases of my life, but it's an evolving thing. So with that being said, I want you to stop and reflect right now. What are your barriers? What's holding you back? What's your fitness story, past and present? You can either share in the chat box, or you can just write it down for yourself personally, or if you just want to share it with us privately and we won't say a name, that's also a thing. So what are your barriers in your wellness right now? Gabby, would you like to add anything to that?
I think that's good. I think it's just really impactful to reflect on the thing that's stopping you from progressing on this journey. So it's nice to take a moment to reflect.
You know, I saw one person even, you know, talking about, well, I was a runner. I enjoy running. I can't do that right now. I actually read an article recently where someone ran a marathon on their deck, you know, the amount of laps and different things like that. And there's so many resources out there, even for runners. How do you stay on track with your programming, your protocol? So don't be afraid to do a quick Google search too. My basement. Okay. We got a shy group, Gabby, but we're teachers. We're former educators. We have wait time. Good. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Time is really tough. I think time is something that we all struggle with. And now that we're in week 6 of quarantine, I found myself getting to the end of the day and realizing, ooh, I planned to do X, but now I'm exhausted and I've gotten here and I don't have to do it. So I'm just going to not. So I agree with you. That's been a barrier for me as well.
And we're going to touch on that a little bit later as well, too, about the time piece.
Now, Ty, I think we can move on to the next slide. It's somewhat similar, but slightly different. So we're going to flip this. I want you to stop and reflect on what's your motivation for being here? What's your motivation coming to this webinar specifically? What in your mind or your body is telling you that you need something different? And again, maybe you share it to yourself, write it down. Maybe you add it in the chat box privately to everyone, whatever you feel comfortable with. Yep, routine and schedule is super, super important. Mindset is really difficult too. And having maybe wanting to flip that mindset is part of this motivation as well. Really powerful things. Ty, I know this is a little personal, but what would you say your motivation is by being able to actually be present in this webinar today? I think it's relevant.
So, you know, thank you for asking that. I will get a little bit vulnerable here, but my motivation, I was a teacher that fell into the happy hour culture in DC. I would leave work. I would go, you know, to the bars, hang out with the other teachers or my friends, and I consumed too much of the pleasure principle, and to the point where it became super unhealthy for me. So my motivation in being here doing this work and to continue to stay physical is that my body did not like that. You know, I started having stomach issues. I started having mental health issues. My anxiety kicked up. You know, it was a lot of different things that started happening for me that I had to readjust for myself. So doing this work is my way of not only sewing back into myself, but sewing into others as well too. I want to, you know, I tell my nieces and nephews, if I can share with them something so they don't have to go through that experience, you know, the same way I did, then that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully my experiences and my knowledge and my research I can share with you so you don't have to go through that barrier. Pick another barrier or pick another obstacle. I'm going to share to you, don't go down this road, but here are some things that you can do.
Thank you, Ty. I appreciate that. I also really appreciate there's a lot of really wonderful answers that have been popping up in the chat. Some suggestions, thinking about being a role model, being a good coworker, knowing that certain things aren't sustainable and you're ready for more. Yes, it's really impactful to think and pause for a moment to decide before we move forward, just why. The why is really important, okay? So we are going to move on and we're going to talk about the different exercises kind of as like a menu of options, thinking not necessarily about just choosing one, but thinking about some things that you might want to take with you in different pieces. So if you want to write them down, that's awesome. If you have questions specifically about any ones of these, please feel free to share them in the chat box or any suggestions as well. So low impact, we're going to go from low to medium to high impact. Low impact, meaning that it's a little bit easier on your joints, right? So some exercises when we're jumping are hard for your joints because they're compacting like this. When we're doing low impact, it's more of a step, right? So we love them because it still builds strength and endurance, and it still burns fat and as well builds that muscle. So some ideas, some suggestions on that are walking, at-home yoga, and desk workouts. Those are all things that are accessible in quarantine. Now, Ty, if you move to the next slide, these are the social exercises: yoga, Pilates, rowing, and walking. The reason why we like them is because team is always even an ounce stronger than doing something by yourself. When you have someone that you have to call on that you know is gonna keep you accountable, you're probably gonna show up more likely. You also might have more fun. So the best part about these low impact on any of these exercises is that with them being both independent and social, you can find different ways to, get yourself to be a little bit vulnerable, different ways to really, can you go back a little bit, time? Sorry. To really, it's okay. She's just giving us a preview of all the slides, but different ways to really find what feels good for you. Now, notice that the low impact independent to social didn't really change. Rowing might be one of them. I don't know. We don't have a boat, so that's fine. That's probably something we can do out of quarantine. But you can do yoga in a social way or an independent way. There are YouTube videos that you can look up for 5 to 10 minutes for free that will relieve your neck pain. You can also text your friend and get into a FaceTime, and together you can do the exact same video for free. Or there are plenty of other Zoom-based workouts, lots of different options that you can do it together. But there's lots of options, even in quarantine, to keep this low impact strength and muscle building going. I also am a huge fan of walking breaks. I've been trying to take them in the middle of the day, even if it's 3 minutes. Something that I've also been empowered by are social distance walking. If you really miss some person that keeps you accountable, go and do a social distance walk with them if you feel comfortable. Lots of different free and cheap ways to make this happen. All right, Ty, you can take it away, the medium impact.
So this is my favorite category. I'm a middle of the road type gal. So I love the medium impact workouts here. And if you look, Aaron, I might be calling you up. I need, might need some personal training here. But what I like about the personal training aspect is you have that accountability partner, that person that's going to be like, you got it, keep going, and just that push. And even with or without a personal trainer, I can have a team. I can call another parent on the line. I could call another teacher, a coworker, a family member to do this workout together, just like Gabby said. So some of the personal training, we put it at medium impact because sometimes they might use bands or equipment. So it can be a little, to that next level for you. Biking outdoors is one of my favorite things to do. You can do this socially, or you can do this alone as well too. I don't even know if you know, but bikes now, like you can even have a little holder on your bike. And I have a holder that I can put my phone and FaceTime along the way with somebody. Don't drive and FaceTime, but at least having that voice and someone talking to you while you're biking could be a thing. Running, again, social or independent task, whether that's running up and down my street with your mask, of course, right now, or running on your deck, or getting on a trail. There are a lot of trails in the DC, Maryland area to get your running in. Again, swimming, might not be something that we can do right now, but remember, some of the things that we are giving you is so that you can create these habits or create these things post and current situation, okay? Strength training kind of goes with personal training, and at-home dance, one of my favorite. I have no rhythm. I cannot dance, but it provides one of the best workouts that I've ever seen. My nieces, I do this with my nieces. I didn't realize how long songs are until they had me doing some of these crazy TikTok videos. Get out there and do it with your kids. It might be the craziest song that you've heard, but that 4 minutes, oh my gosh, you can work up a sweat and you'll be sick of that song by the end of the week, but you will get, you know, that impact and that workout that you need. So at home dance. Some of the other things that are more on the social side, spin, again, thinking about when post-COVID, but a lot of the spin studios are doing other things like personal training in lieu of this. Dance, tennis, all of these things. Don't forget, dance is a workout. You can make workouts fun. It doesn't just have to be, you know, pounding out weights, you know. It is building that muscle and building that endurance. And you don't have to have rhythm to do it, just FYI. Okay, you want to take Gabby?
Okay. Thanks, Ty. Yeah, so really a lot of things that Ty was talking about resonate with me. The high impact is really interesting as well. I teach a lot of HIIT classes, a lot of high impact classes. And my knees actually don't accommodate well to that high impact. So I really invite people to be vulnerable with themselves, to see what their bodies feel like within these different workouts and really see what things work and don't work for you. High impact can be really incredible because it gets results pretty fast sometimes. And again, you can do this with a high intensity interval training. You can do it with boxing, volleyball, basketball, but they're a little bit more stress on your joints. Ty, if you want to move to the other side, again, team is going to be a little bit stronger than doing it independently. But the most incredible thing about quarantine right now is that, again, the social and the independent workouts in this high impact category are pretty much the same. Yes, when we come back out of quarantine, you might be able to get a full boxing bag to hit on, but right now you can do pretty much the exact same workout in your living room. So the cool part about the entry, even into things that might sound scary and might sound overwhelming, like high impact workouts, actually have a pretty low barrier to entry. You don't have to go anywhere. You barely have to decide beforehand when you're going to do it, but I do think you should plan. That's another thing, but we'll talk about that after. And at the same time, you're able to turn your camera off, not have anyone watch you if you don't want it, and act a little bit like a fool. It's okay. All that you're seeing is yourself, right? That's the best part about this new normal that we're in. You have the opportunity to really dive into something that may have made you a little bit nervous before. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to really play volleyball. That's okay, right? But you probably can attend a HIIT class and just see what it's like, see how it feels. So I invite you to just open up your mind to a lot of these things that in the past has been a little strange. There are lots and lots of resources. So Ty's going to go over kind of our overview here, but take a moment to just notice all the things that we told you. Notice all the different exercises.
So Gabby, I like what you said. This time has provided, you know, so much time and space to try new things, right? Because you're in the comfort of your own home, right? So I really like this. And I keep hearing people say, like, how do I get started? Just do it. Just jump in. And again, I like to grab somebody along on this journey. It's so much easier to have someone, whether that's another kid, whether that's taking, you know, Princeton and putting them in his little backpack, but having someone there with me is super helpful. So grab a kid, grab a partner, grab a husband, a sister, whoever's in the house with you, or call someone out and just get started. I mean, it's stuff on our cable television now, and just get started and be okay with starting where you are. And, you know, we're not looking for perfection. What I will say, if anything, and we're going to give you some resources here shortly, get a personal trainer, log in to, trusted websites and do this work. And also, talk to people about what they are doing that's working well, because we want you to stay safe. Too often we hear people like, oh, I don't do, yoga anymore because it hurt my back, or I don't do Pilates because I got injured and stuff. And what we're finding is sometimes people are doing things incorrectly, and it's causing them pain or discomfort because they're not doing it properly. So I do urge, once we get out of this state, to get into a few classes, or get a trainer, or get someone that's knowledgeable to help make sure you're staying safe with this. So that's my 2 cents.
Now, part of our conversation today is thinking about how we can challenge our current habit and really bump ourselves. Yes, we see all these different options, but how do we make it into an actual action? So part of the nonprofit wellness curriculum is talking about habit change. That's exactly what we're doing. We're changing our habits. As you see on the slide there are 6 different stages of habit change. And we're not going to go into the specifics of each one, but I will invite you to just notice each of the stages. Pre-contemplation, you're already past that. You've come to this webinar, you've noticed that you'd like to actually do something different. So number 2 is that contemplation stage. This is probably where you're here. We're thinking about doing something different. Number 3 is preparation. Now, my 2 cents about preparation is that getting yourselves a realistic goal and using small steps to actually get yourself there is most reasonable. If I say that I'm going to work out for a full hour every single day doing a HIIT class, and I've never started that before, that's not going to be reasonable, and I'm probably going to fail, and I don't really want to fail, right? So setting realistic expectations for yourself and a specific small goal. We get into the action stage, number 4, and the maintaining stage, number 5. Now, I want to take a moment to look at number 6, relapse. You are not always going to be able to sustain this goal, and sometimes you're going to slide back. Almost everything in life you're going to slide back on, and it is okay. This is part of the stage where you need to just be kind to yourself, show compassion to yourself, and notice that sometimes when you get to that relapse stage, you might have to shift your goals, shift what you're thinking about, and do something a little different. So I invite you to just always be kind at this point, and really be reflective. So we're really here to support you in making some positive changes. And so Ty and I have come up with some tips and tricks on the other side, actually. Some tips and tricks before we set our commitment about how to make this actually work for you in quarantine. So some of them are the same, some of them are different, but if you like any, write them down. I'll try not to go super fast. I think that scheduling classes in advance is still really powerful. If you know something's going to happen, put it into your calendar, write it down, put it somewhere where you're going to check, or you're going to have to get a reminder for it, because you could then not opt out of it, right? So put it into your routine, put it into your life. The next one is choose a class time that makes it feasible for you. If you're a morning workout person, find something in the morning. If you want something that breaks up your day, put it in the middle of the day. I also am really thinking about that evening time workout. If you're that person that when you get home and sits on the couch after you finished all your work, can't get back up and do a workout, don't schedule your workouts like that. Try something different. See if you can go from a 5-minute quick transition from work into changing into getting yourself ready for that class, okay? I think that virtual classes, when they're live, are actually way more impactful because you're finding that community. You're still able to, take some distance. You don't have to put your video on, but really being able to interact with someone in real time is powerful. It doesn't work for anyone, and sometimes you like to do it on your own, and that's okay too. If it's a morning workout, set your alarm the night before. Get some coffee, pre-set your coffee. If you need the caffeine, do it. Don't think twice, just do it. Lay your clothes out so that you kind of don't have a choice not to get into those clothes. If you like sleeping in your clothes, go for it. I hate doing that, so you can choose what you like. We talked about this before, but tell a friend, get accountability. get someone that you enjoy working out with, or someone that you know is going to feel good and you can talk about what happened after. Like Ty, I'm not a great dancer, but guess what? Sometimes I like to dance. And if my friend who also likes to make a fool of herself is also on this class with me, we can talk about it after. Oh my God, that move was so crazy. Like, that is insane. Whatever. It's fun. It builds community. It builds a sense of not being alone in this work. I really am a fan of getting workout gear that you like. So if you have the ability to find one piece of gear that you like and you feel confident in, it makes a difference. Confidence is huge. Same thing goes with music. If you like different music, guess what? You can play the different music now. It's whatever you want to do with that. Something that's really important that I don't know that everyone's thought about, if you have the capacity, it's really impactful to have a separate space, work, sleep, and working out. Sometimes you can't do that, and I understand. I am in my bedroom. I teach classes here sometimes. You can't do it. But guess what? I move my furniture over and I physically make a change in my space so that I mentally can then do something different in my mind. I'm not thinking about sleeping. I'm not thinking about work. I'm thinking about doing my exercise. If you see my living room now, I have literally changed the furniture in my living room 100 times. There's a million different variations. It's also great for feng shui if you just like need a change. So highly recommend that. If you're doing yoga, set the mood, get a candle, get the lights right, whatever it needs to be. Close the door so people don't disrupt you. Tell people that you're gonna work out so they don't walk in on you. Use your mirror, use your computer screen to see what you're doing, to give yourself feedback there. And then find someone who inspires you. That is so important. Find someone that you are connected to. Look at their Instagram, look at their YouTube, look at their websites. I can tell you right now, Ty and Aaron, and I haven't taken Jessie, but I know it, are incredibly inspiring people. And because of that, I am so much more bought in, so much more. So I know we have not a ton of time left, but Ty, if you go to that next slide, I want us all right now to set a commitment. Easy commitment, one step, single change, thinking about this habit change wheel. What is something starting blank, maybe this week, next week, I will do with a supportive We can be your accountability partners, your mom, your sister, your husband, your wife, your roommate, whatever. Anyone can be that accountability partner. I invite you to literally write it down now. I got Post-its here. You can write it on your computer, your phone, write it in this chat, but think of something that you can set a commitment to really change within yourself.
So Gabby, this is super helpful. This is one of the things you taught me, you know, when we first got together, and I have that Post-it note on my bathroom mirror because I'm in front of my bathroom mirror every day brushing my teeth, right? It's my reminder to do this. So I strongly urge you, you know, right now, you know, grab something and make this commitment, because you're holding yourself accountable. You know, put it on your fridge, put it somewhere where you are going to see this every single day. And Gabby, if you don't mind, I would like to set a commitment with you today. Gabby holds me so accountable, and she will stay on top of me about it on text or phone call. But I really want to get into biking more, and I did not send my bike to the shop before all of this happened. So Gabby, hold me accountable for calling bike shops, finding the essential one that I can safely go and drop my bike off contactlessly, with no contact, and drop my bike off so that I can bike. I did, however, Gabby, I did last night look up the little seats for kids to ride on the back. It kind of scares me. We can talk about that later, but hold me accountable for starting this week. Before the start of next week, I want to get my bike fixed to be able to bike with the support of Gabby.
Thank you, Ty. And Sarah, also thank you for sharing as well. Kids are really helpful in this because they might nag you too, just like mom might nag them, right? My commitment is going to use Aaron actually. Starting, I'm going to say at the end of this week, I will use my Sweat Anywhere app to not just do yoga, because I've been doing yoga, and do some strengthening exercises with the support of Aaron. So Aaron, you better see me comment on the Sweat Anywhere app. Lindsay, you can hold me accountable to this too, because I'm going to make it there. And thank you, Nikki. Fabulous. Now, we do have some ideas of places for you to start if you have some curiosities. However, with these commitments, be mindful that you will or you might relapse, and be kind to yourself, okay? Super, super important. And so Ty, this is our kind of like places where you could start. Some things, we'll go to the next slide. Some things that Ty and I use, have seen, not all of them might speak to you, and that's okay. Feel free to take a screenshot, take a picture of this. Ty's yoga studios on there, Bikram Yoga Works. We didn't put Aaron's stuff on there. I need to put Aaron's stuff on. You can follow him at Fitness Theory on Instagram. My work is on there too as well. We have our Sweat DC app. There's a lot of things that are free right now. There are a lot of things that are still like pretty reasonably priced. Yes, nonprofit wellness on Instagram as well. One thing I do want to say is that lots of things are free, and it's great for it to be free. It's tough on the fitness community when everything's free. So if you think that you really value something, really find a way to thank that person, because they're putting a lot of time and effort into it. And a lot of people have lost their jobs from this scenario. So just be kind about it. That's all. If you have questions about any of these specific classes or ideas, please feel free to reach out, and we are happy to talk with you about that.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That's fine. That's exactly where I was going to go.
Well, I have one more thing. So I want to, everybody made a comment about getting their kids involved. If you have kids in your life, they will hold you accountable. Kids are extremely brutal, and they keep you honest. My niece is 5 years old, and like clockwork, I mean, she calls me, she grabs her mother's phone, and she's like, "Aunt Ty, it's time for our dance break." We turn on Trolls. I am by far sick of this Troll soundtrack, 1 and 2, but I do it every day. She said, "Get Baby Princeton," and we do this every day, and that soundtrack is extremely long, guys. But get the kids involved, because they will hold, they just have way too much energy. And get outside the days that you can get outside, like today, in your backyard. You know, you can still do that volleyball, hitting the volleyball back and forth, or different things like that, kicking a ball. Get out there. Because I know I have a lot of parents on here. Spend that time with your kids. You know, we talk so much about, oh, I can't wait to this and wait to that. Get back to place. Enjoy this time. Please, please, please. I cannot say it more. Even being home with a 5-month-old, like, I'm experiencing things with him that if I was at work all day, I would not get to experience. The babysitter would, so seeing those different milestones, I encourage you to spend that time with your kids, learn about them, and make them work out in their way. Okay. And one more thing about the things that we put on here. The reason why we chose these specific things, because we see them doing the workout safely. They're using proper form. And these are just, people and things that we tried out personally ourselves, that, like we said, that work. So just go on Instagram, go on some of these websites and try them out and see what works for you. Sorry, soapbox. Go ahead.
You be on that soapbox. I love it. Okay, so there's a bunch of different things that we have going on for DCI, a wellness series throughout this month. On Wednesdays, the DCI Family Fit Fridays with Aaron is going to be at 3:30. So you have 30 minutes to get from whatever you're doing, get yourself changed, get a snack, and then power yourself into that workout. Family friendly again. It'll be lots of fun. He's a great time. And then we also have Jessie is the family stretch Thursdays. That again is at 3:30. Lots of fun. Get yourself lengthened. For teachers, we're going to talk about the wellness committee, and then so important, we didn't talk about any of that mental stuff today, but there's free Headspace subscriptions, and wow, is Headspace calming. If you haven't tried it, check it out for DCI staff. It is incredible. If you have questions about that at all, I know that mindfulness stuff is a little scary sometimes. Reach out to us. We're happy to talk with you about that.
So Gabby, in our last, less than 10 minutes here, I do want to open it up for anybody that have any questions, comments, feedback. Feel free to take yourself off of mute, but we did a lot of talking and presenting a lot of information. I want to make sure we are addressing any of your needs and concerns, so please feel free to, open up and talk to us now.
So this is Sarah, and I was very active for a long time. I did marathons. I'd done lots of running, Bikram yoga, all that stuff. And over the years, and I had some pretty bad personal things happen in the past few years. I just put on weight. I stress eat. So some people get stressed. They don't eat me. I eat. So this is the first time where I know what proper running technique is. I know what proper Bikram technique is, all that stuff. But I've always been able to know that in a certain body. This is the first time I've been in a body that just I know what the technique is, but I can't even get close to approaching that. So are there resources that you can think of for somebody? I'm 100 pounds overweight. I've never been, even when pregnant, was not in this situation. So for somebody, it's not like I've never exercised or play competitive sports or any of that stuff. I've done all that, just haven't done it in this body. What would you do? What would you advise?
I'm going to shoot that over to Aaron. I saw he had he was excited to answer that one. So Aaron, before we step in, go ahead.
Sarah, I've done it in that body. I actually lost 100 pounds. So I've done it in that body, and I understand how it is to start over again. My first initial mile inside of that body took me about 22 minutes. But the thing you have to do is remember, with that body, you have to remember how you're placing your feet now and go to what's reasonable for you. Don't remember the time that you used to have and the pace that you used to have. You have to think about now what's going to fit for you. Now, fitting inside that, I guarantee you, if you just stay consistent, even if it's just a walk, if you can do intervals. Maybe that you'll be walking for 6 minutes and it'll be a big minute and a half that you would just try to jog a little bit and then back it back down. Do that back and forth. That's definitely what I did. My initial thing, I started off running. I was an athlete, then I gained a lot of weight. I played baseball, basketball, football, lacrosse. So I know what it is to be inside that body and having to retrain that body over again. It's going to be a big mental thing for you to start because you're going to want to run at your normal pace. Don't do it because you're going to burn out too fast. And that's going to be, like what Gabby said, how you're going to go back, you're going to regress. And it's going to happen. I've yo-yoed until now. I found exactly the method that works for my body. And until you have to find that method that works exactly for your body, you're going to yo-yo. It's going to happen. The biggest thing to put inside your head that it is going to happen. And the most important thing is when it does happen, you have to be mindful that maybe that's just the day that you need a day of serenity and you just need to walk. Sometimes it's going to be that way. It's just basically retraining yourself. And it's okay. It's completely okay.
Thank you. That was a great answer. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I also want to add too, I think in this time and space, I've been noticing for me, what I'm putting into my body as well too has played a huge impact as well. So I'm having to get up and meal prep the same way I would any other day, because otherwise I'm hunting for food all day, and that's not a good thing. I'm then, eating stuff that I shouldn't be eating. So by fixing my, my lunches for the day and different things like that, I have to be more conscious and monitor what I'm putting into my body. And that's meant that, you know, we're on Pinterest at my house a lot looking for new healthy, recipes, things I would not normally have time to try. And I despise cooking, FYI, but we're trying it as a group in here, just to see what works for us. So I would also say, along with that, monitor what you're fueling your body with.
Yeah, it's really important to think about fitness as, or I would say physical wellness as the actual exercise. It's the nutrition and it's that mentality. And if you're missing one of those things, it's really hard to get that magic sauce to work. Mental strength, man, it is tough, but it is everything. I talk a lot about, yes, that first step, yes. But it's about having positive self-talk and thinking, no, this is not necessarily the one time where it's going to be best, but hey, I'm going to try my best here. I know this is going to be tough, and I'm just going to, keep telling myself that I got this, keep telling myself that any foot I put forward is going to be a good fit.
And you have a team here. You have a team of people right now that's holding you accountable and that's going to join a workout with you. Any other questions or comments before we wrap this up? So we really appreciate it. And I'm still leaving it open. We'll stay on for a couple minutes, but we really, really, really appreciate those of you that joined. I'm going to put back up on screen for the last couple minutes, how to find us, how to get in touch with us. But we are willing to share information. We want you to have this information. Please feel free to reach out to us, find us on social media. And again, thank you. We appreciate you. And we are here and along with you on this journey.
Thank you. And Ty, there was a question for you at the bottom. This is probably better for you. I'm not a great meal prepper. I'm not gonna lie.
This research-based, and Susan's probably gonna kill me for this. I use Pinterest. Dude, like Pinterest is like my best friend, guys. Like I find so much stuff on Pinterest, but I don't take like one person's word for it. Like I go and I learn how to meal prep from Pinterest. I try something on, that doesn't work for me. I don't have these containers. I'm gonna try this one. I just try it on, fix the meals. Sundays is my prep day. So like whether that's I'm prepping for work, prepping meals, different stuff. So Sundays in my house is prep day. I just do it on Sundays and find stuff on Pinterest. Eek. Pinterest is awesome.
Yeah, I think with anything, my mentality is always just like try it out, see how it fits. If it doesn't fit, try this other way to do it. And meal prepping is kind of the same. Like find something that you're excited about. Find one meal you're excited about and see if you can eat it a few times. See how it goes. Try another meal.
Super fun being part of this with you, Aaron. Thanks so much for jumping on. Great information. Can't wait for your classes.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, and there folks are dropping off, but just to reiterate that the classes are all going to be family friendly. They're not geared for kids specifically, but they are geared for adults that kids can take part and help hold you accountable. But our focus is really making parents and teachers and staff, educators as effective as we can be, so that we can then bring these wellness practices to kids after we are well, after putting our own oxygen masks on ourselves. Gabby and Tyecia, amazing job today. I loved all listening to you in the webinar and all of your stories. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan.
And I remembered to record, since I wasn't talking, I remembered to record it. So we have this for other DCI folks. I'm going to stop recording now. And thanks to everybody who participated in the chats as well. Your stories make it really real.